you consider yourself more of a problem solver or a chaos manager?
I'm a chaos manager. I love chaos and I thrive. I feel happy when things are nuts.
Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Bleep the Budget. I am your host, Meghan McDonald, Senior Community Relations Specialist at Forefront Credit Union. Today, I am talking with Scott Newman-Bale, CEO of Shorts Brewing Company. He's also known as the magician behind making wild ideas financially real. Scott, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've been a busy guy lately. I'm so glad our schedules finally lined up. You guys have a lot going on.
Yeah, this is definitely going into getting ready. Summer's always obviously a busy time for us all in Northern Michigan, and this year has not disappointed in that measure.
No, and I just was looking at my phone before you came in, saw a social post that you guys have the big pole barn party coming up.
Yep, Shorts Fest coming up June 6th as well. So we just had our anniversary party in Bel Air, and then Shorts Fest, and then full-blown summer. So.
Yep. I sent it to my husband. I'm like, here's something we can do on Saturday, June 6th.
It's a great event. It's family-friendly, and it's free entry and just music and good vibes. So.
Yes. Love it.
Yep.
Love all the things that Shorts stands for. So speaking of Shorts, for anyone who lives under a rock and is listening, give us the Cliff Notes version of everything that Shorts is.
Yeah, I mean, we started in 2004. We started in Bel Air as mainly a brew pub, attracting people to come and see us. And then we started distribution over the years and are now available all across Michigan and several other states as well. We opened an Elk Rapids tasting room and production facility in 2010. And obviously, as you mentioned, hopefully if all goes according to plan and floods haven't set us back too much, then we will be talking Traverse City in April or May of next year.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yep. So it's so far so good. I mean, there's a lot of work and a lot of variables and curveballs coming our way, but so far nothing that's delaying our schedule.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. I hope it stays that way because I know I speak for a lot of people. We are super pumped to have you guys in Traverse City.
I will say in the first month I've burned through all my contingency of delays. So I'm running a little tighter than I anticipated, but I think I can get it done. So.
Yeah. How many days after was that announcement and then the flooding happened?
Like a week.
Oh my gosh.
It's definitely a range of emotions. So.
Oh, I can't imagine. How are you guys doing with that? I got to ask, is everything coming back together, I should say?
Coming back together. I mean, there's the good part is we saw the worst, hopefully the worst it can be. So we know how to prepare for the future.
Okay.
So we're just kind of factoring in some of that into the planning again. So that's changing the scope a little bit, but not tons.
Yeah. Mother Nature just wanted you guys to know exactly what you were in for, right?
I prefer to deal with it now than later when we've spent a bunch of money and it destroys that. So now we know what we're doing and, we'll prepare accordingly.
Scott, how did you join Shorts as CEO?
So I started with Joe when we opened. At the time, I was a silent partner and just helping out mostly with money when Joe needed to pay some bills, usually taxes.
Okay.
And then I was in finance and financial real estate background. And then during the Great Recession in 2009, that wasn't very fun, and brewing was, so made the switch full time. Very
nice. Okay, yep. And never looked back?
No, it's been a crazy ride for sure, and I can't believe it's already been 17 years since then, and 22 years since we've been in business, and 23 years, because we were building for years, so 23 years since we actually started. So.
Yeah, and so much growth in those years, too, you guys have underwent.
Yeah, and it's been, for any small business, an interesting, struggle to get going, which is typical. Balloon period, struggles, balloon period, struggles. And the industry itself is not great right now. And I wouldn't say we're struggling, but we're certainly a lot harder than it used to be. So we are working twice as hard and having to dot our I's and cross our T's a lot more than we ever have done. So.
What's going on with the industry right now?
Just a number of things, actually, with the youth. And actually, I would say the youth. It's not even just the youth, but there's a number of other expenditure problems. So we have people who are struggling with affordability, have a little less disposable income. Maybe they go out and they have one less beer or don't have any beer at all. Some people obviously do weight loss. Drugs affect alcohol consumption, marijuana consumption. And one of the big things that I've been kind of suggesting is even bigger, rents as well, go into the affordability, but gambling.
Gambling has an effect?
I mean, if you look at how much dollars people in Michigan have spent in gambling since it became legal, I mean, just online gambling alone is $3.8 billion. And siphoning it out of the economy. And then you add in Michigan lottery, casinos, private gambling. All of a sudden, it's pretty easy to see. And if anyone talks to any of their friends, I'm pretty sure they've probably got some sort of app on their phone and they're gambling on some level. And it's quite addictive. And I think that's a growing problem that isn't really talked about yet.
Interesting. No, I mean, you do hear about it. You see the billboards and the commercials that talk about it, but I don't think I've ever talked to someone about how it's actually affecting the industry that they work for. Yeah,
I don't think it's really people putting it together yet, but I've had a few things that have come up that have kind of triggered the idea, and then now I'm in the hospitality, so whenever I walk into a bar, which is frequently, just monitoring what people are up to, and you'll find that an awful lot of people are gambling, and that's a big part of their life. So it is, the numbers are public, so it's a huge number that's getting siphoned out of the economy, and it's got to come from somewhere. So
interesting.
I think that's going to be a growing trend in the next 2 to 3 years that we're all of a sudden talking about it.
Okay. So basically you think folks are gambling more than they're drinking that craft beer then?
Yeah. I mean, you just lost a lot of money, which everyone loses. The house always wins. And that definitely leaves less money for everything, not just alcohol.
Sure.
But it is definitely a growing problem. So, but the challenges are many. And then the supply chain, we've had to raise prices like everyone else, not as much as most other things, but our margins are shrank, and so it's a difficult business to be in right now. But again, it's thankfully, we're well established. We own all of our own real estate, which was a long-term investment play, which is really our saving grace. We're really balance sheet's a lot stronger with having the real estate on it.
Okay. And you play a huge role in all of that. Reading, they call you the magician.
Yep.
What is that about?
I mean, most of it is government solving difficult problems, or government problems, financial problems, just kind of get creative on how to put things together, package things together to lower risks so people can buy into, whether it be debt, providing us money. However we have to do that, that goes back to the real estate and buying real estate to then leverage that for the original growth. So it's usually just finding money when we need money and dealing with the government because we're a very regulated environment. So just having conversations with the government whenever we need to is usually it.
Okay. So at this point, you're not just helping to run a brewery. You're making it possible for creativity to exist, but at a scale. When did you realize that your role became bigger, would you say, than just Shorts?
I mean, it was, when I joined Shorts, we went through adding a production facility and a big growth. Mm-hmm. So it was an immediate escalation of what we were doing and what was needed. And then obviously since then, we put a lot of time and effort into other people as well. So I'm the president of the school system, pushed a lot of financial literacy in schools as well, just some basics.
Amazing.
Now it's actually law. It wasn't at the time. It is now for the next year. So now it's statewide. It is law. Working with other entrepreneurs, getting other people going. I do government affairs for the state brewers and national, and I was the president of the Michigan Brewers Guild for a while too. So just trying to encourage an environment for entrepreneurs around the state, even beyond. Is a big part of what we do. Yeah,
it's amazing. Reading about you, all that stuff that you do with the craft beer advocacy, with that industry. What's something that you would say that maybe people outside of that world maybe don't understand about how hard it is to keep breweries alive? especially right now, as you said, that you are facing challenges?
Yeah, I mean, ever since COVID, it's been a nightmare on the supply chain side. Contracts have been out of whack. People's habits have changed. So we were contracted for cans, and now people, or at the time, we were a lot more people drinking on premise at a restaurant or bar. And then COVID completely changed that, and it never really has come back. Like, it's not, you don't see places open or late anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a very different environment and social habits. So that's still playing out. And it's playing out with the new generations coming in. So, and then obviously the economy and pricing has completely changed things. So I don't know what normal is anymore. I don't know if we're getting back to anything or if we're going in a different direction. And that's the problem, is there's so much unknown. Planning is harder now than it ever has been.
Probably just this constant movement that you are dealing with. Everything is just changing constantly. Nothing ever sits still.
Correct. And I feel like we spent years getting really good at planning, and then now, I mean, we do plan, but there's definitely an element of let's not put as much time as we used to in there, because it's somewhat picking numbers out of a hat and we don't know what things are going to change, if we can even do a product. So people may want the product, but we won't be able to produce it. So fruit, we use a lot of fruit.
Yep.
So obviously that's very susceptible to natural disasters and temperature changes and storms, which we have plenty of.
Yep.
So maybe everyone wants this product, but we don't have any fruit to put in that product. So then we have to change that. So it's a very difficult time to plan, which again adds to the struggle. But thankfully, we are again well established enough, and our efficiency is great enough that we're doing okay, and we're holding up well, especially compared to some of our peers. Sure.
Talking about planning and still trying to maintain that creativity. I know Joe is a very dynamic, vibrant guy, and I'm guessing he's kind of like that mad scientist of ideas. When he comes to you with these ideas and how to move forward and how to do something cool, what's that conversation look like on your side of the table?
It used to be very different, because Joe used to be exactly as you described, to the extreme.
Okay.
And I used to be very much more reserved and cautious. I wouldn't say cautious, but
it's a good balance.
It was a very good balance. And over the 20 years, we've merged a little bit more into the middle of each other, so we're not as far apart as we used to be. So nowadays, it's a lot easier. We typically agree on most things, or if we don't agree, it's not dramatic enough that it's going to be a problem. So it's a lot easier than it used to be. I mean, I remember the first time that we literally paid the bills and we didn't have bills to pay, and Joe was like, great, because I need I can't remember what the number was, but it was like enough money that would bankrupt us. And he's like, because I'm going to make a beer every month and I'm not going to release them for over a year, so I'm going to tie up all of our money in this beer release, and then I'm going to release it all in one go, but it's going to be great, and it's never been done before. And I was like, this is going to bankrupt us. And it almost did, but sure enough, when time came and we did the release, it really went exactly according to plan. We sold a lot of product, we corrected everything, and it really escalated the business growth. So I knew that it was likely. I mean, I've pushed back on ridiculous things. I can't think of what things we've totally said no to, but there's a lot. But everything we've let go on that have been extreme generally have come good. So we've got a good enough vibe that we can balance each other out.
How do you protect that creativity while you do still make sure you don't go bankrupt, or you don't go bankrupt, or you want to keep the lights on?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little, I would say it's easy now, but the numbers are just bigger. But nowadays, I think, we at least just have guidelines and understandings of like, okay, do we at least know what we're getting ourselves into is really the focus, the pros and cons, and just sitting there like, we have a little bit more patience, just say, okay, let's sit down and think about this and talk about it and play devil's advocate with each other. And sometimes we flip positions. Like, he'll come in with an idea and then we talk it through. He's like, yeah, that's terrible. I actually kind of like it now. So again, that's the balance we found after 22 years is I think we can tell when the other person's confident enough that it's probably correct.
Okay.
I would say the best way. And we also have now a couple of people in our finance department who just do that every day and aren't distracted and are amazing and dedicated and will tell us when I'm almost jumped to the other side a little bit sometimes, and I have to be told.
They tell you guys to sit down.
Yeah, we have a CFO now who's awesome and now has to probably deal with me on how I used to deal with Joe.
Gotcha. Okay. Still, though, maintaining that balance, it sounds like.
Yeah, we definitely work at a balance and making sure that we don't just do something because it sounds fun. I mean, Logan's Landing is a potential interesting one because that really, it makes financial sense for shorts, but from the building point of view, this is probably not the best way to do it. But at the same time, if you're going to go into a market, you may as well do something that you can make a difference, and that's why we haven't done it. And this one is more than just a new pub. This is an area revitalization. It's something that the town really wants. Everyone talks about it. So it's kind of like, I think we could have done this at a much lower risk, but it wouldn't have been nearly as cool.
Oh, yeah.
And when it's done, it will be amazing. And the risk isn't that bad compared to what we would have other done. So, and the upside's higher. So, but it's not, this was a difficult one because it really isn't a get rich scheme. This is a long-term problem that we've taken on.
Yeah. But to your point, it's going to be amazing for the community. And I've noticed over the years of living here, I haven't lived here as long as Shorts has been around, but you guys do seem to put your footprint in a really positive way on the communities you jump into. So
yeah, and that's the big part of a mantra. I mean, when we have Bel Air, we owned a lot of buildings downtown. It was when we first moved in 2004, it was run down and there was a lot of vacancies. Now there hasn't been a vacancy for years in Bel Air. Even through COVID, we were 100%. People come and go, but it's usually a quick turnaround. So we bought some units. We ended up with some units that we use for incubators for new businesses, and every 3 or 4 years, and one will typically not close. They actually, I think virtually all of them have bought their own buildings in town, moved into other buildings. So if you go into Bel Air, there's a lot of, a good chunk of businesses that are involved with ex-employees who have gone on to start their own, or incubator programs.
Yeah.
Or both.
That's so cool. I did not realize that you guys did that. That's awesome.
Yep. So we got a new one just opened up in there, but we had Sweet Rees, which was in the incubator program, which was a former employee who then opened her own store, candy store in Bel Air. That's in the program right now, and as is a new boutique that just opened up actually in the last month.
Wow.
Which she also was in our incubator before, and then opened and moved to Fireside Lounge, and that was one where they moved and then transitioned, actually sold it to another former employee of ours. So they're now owning that, and so she had some time, and she came back into the incubator program and started something else. So
wow. When did you guys start the incubator programs?
It was roughly, I mean, time flies, but I'm guessing it was probably about 2015.
2015. Okay, gotcha.
Which only started because we needed the pharmacy space next to us, and to get the pharmacy space, we had to buy the building across from us. Okay. So we ended up with some extra space that we used to that's what we used it for. It wasn't intended at the time to be that way, but it just kind of worked that way, and we continued it.
And helping entrepreneurs, that's amazing. Why do that?
I mean, it's relatively low risk because we buy a building, and that's hopefully a decent investment anyway. And then we just sacrifice. Really, what we're doing is sacrificing a return, a normal return. We on it for a number of years. But the nice part about that is it also helps us bring in people who can help our own business. So
sure.
Yeah, maybe someone goes in there, or they can stay longer, have another beer because the family's off shopping or doing something in town that's interesting. So the whole idea is a holistic approach for the town, not anything. It's somewhat self-serving. Big picture.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And at relatively low risk because, again, the worst thing that's happened is it doesn't work out, and we rent it to someone else. And so we're really just sacrificing a slightly reduced rent.
Sure. So you're giving it to them at a lower cost then?
Yeah, we do different escalations over years.
So cool.
Yeah, and then and we do it trying again of need and how getting people up and running in the community, and really work with newer people as much as like we do what we can. And we work with them as well if they have changes in life or struggles. We try and work with them as well.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. That's good for you guys. Thank you guys for doing that. That's amazing. Circling back to Logan's Landing, had you guys been eyeing Traverse City for a while? I know Traverse City had been eyeing you guys for a while.
Yeah, we really were not eyeing Traverse City. Like it was not
wasn't
it's
in the
come
plan.
up. It's come close a few times. I mean, originally when the Commons project was done, we were very seriously looking at. I think it's been a long time, so my story may not even be totally accurate. But if I can remember correctly, before we had the production facility in Elk Rapids, we looked at the Commons for the main facility.
Okay.
And it wouldn't have been a bad thing either. It was great. It just at the time we just were. It was too much for us to take on in that facility, and we knew what we're getting into and what we ended up doing. So that was the closest we've come. After that, we've been solicited and talked a number of times. We always have to own our own real estate because we change so much. We need to adapt, and we would freak landlords out really quickly. We're like, hey, we're taking out a floor and adding this and doing that, and people will get quite freaked out really quickly. So we always have a rule: we only own our own real estate, and that limits us. So then there really wasn't anything that cool or that exciting or that unique until Logan's. What
made you want to do Logan's Landing? What stuck out to you about that spot? Because it's been a spot for a long time.
Yeah, it has, and I've driven by it continuously. So it started out with our partnership with Keen, and they were working on another development and looking for tenants for that development. We had the same conversation of we're not good tenants. And then they kind of threw out, well, if you're interested in a development side and a project, then how about this? And they had already been working on this project for a little bit. And that we sat down with them and we're like, well, I don't know. We're not good tenants, but this isn't a tenant. We're owning it as well. We never had a partnership. It's always been me and Joe, and we've got a few other people involved, but it's we know how each other works. So adding people to the mix is a little scary, and they were the same way. So we had a great conversation, and we walked out of there and we're like, all right, let's do it. So it came together from first meeting to closing in a ridiculously short time for a commercial property, 3 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was a very quick development of, okay, we're doing this and let's go. Wow. And a lot of it's to the strength of just having, again, we've never done a partnership. It's we're still learning. It's certainly more challenging. I think we're both, because we just know, you do the design, this part, I pay the bills. Now just having another couple of people involved, we're just figuring each other out still in a great way. Everything's very positive. It's just another challenge, and we're almost through that process now of figuring each other out, and now we're getting to the hard work of actually doing the project. Right.
And you guys are eyeing a 2027?
So yeah, they got May 1 roughly of 27.
Okay.
Is the goal.
And you still feeling good about that?
I feel less good, but still feel okay.
It's
I
gonna
felt
be okay.
good, now it's down to okay.
And that's because of the flood that occurred.
The flood, and and it really has just set us back because we couldn't even get to the property for several weeks.
Oh.
So that all of our inspections got pushed back, and now we're rescheduling everything. So we're already lost. I said a good chunk of my contingency is gone. Expanding the scope eats up the rest of the contingency. So I'm still pretty confident that we'll get that done, but it's a lot more challenging. I thought it was going to be easy. Now it's going to be challenging, which everything ends up being anyway, so it's fine.
It does. I'm almost scared to ask this next question, but what do you think is the hardest part of a brewery expansion like this?
I mean, especially right now is we're spread so thin, even short size. I mean, we have a few hundred employees. In the summer, we get up to 200 employees, less so in the winter. So we do have resources, but it's still a lot falls on me and Joe. And I have way too much going on, as does Joe. Personally, professionally, it's just a busy time for us both. So, as with our partners, so just trying to make sure that you get that dedicated time to not do it incorrectly and make sure, like, it is a new community. I know everyone in Traverse City knows who we are, and our reputation is like we are part of the community because I live in Traverse City and we've been here for a long time. But it is important to us. It's a big deal, and Logan's is a big deal. We're kind of feel more like stewards of this spot rather than owners. So like the pressure's a little higher than normal, and life is busier than normal, and so that's my number one concern. I think is just making sure we have the time to do it right, and we also have to pay the bills. It's an expensive property to just hold, so we need to get it done and online.
Well, I think I can speak for a lot of people. Like, we can be patient. We're just excited to see the space there. We're excited to have you guys join the community. So I think we can be patient about it.
Yeah, I said I don't know if we can, so that's okay. I mean, most of the unfortunate part is I think when the important for the community to know too is like it needs a whole new roof. The place is leaking. It's just running water into the place, and there's going to be mold issues and a bunch of stuff that we can totally repair, and that's the first step. But 90% of the work isn't actually visual. It's just you may see a few people around, but it's a lot of internal work. There's going to be some exterior work, obviously some nice upgrading. But the funny part is when I actually start talking to people, and I feel this way, is if I was sitting on the deck and it was sunny out not long after the announcement, and I was like, you know what, if you just threw 300 people around here, some beers in my hand, and play some music, I don't actually need much more. Like, the place is actually pretty cool. It's like, I think that's why people are attracted to it is, it looks run down, and it doesn't need that much to not be run down. I think what it really is suffering from is a lack of energy. And you give it the energy back, I don't think it takes as much, but it does need a new roof. It does need all sorts of other stuff, which is going to add up. I mean, it's going to cost way more to upgrade the property than it is to buy the property. Wow. And so there is a lot of work to do. It's not going to be quite as visual as some, but I think actually that's what most people are going to want. So I think it's going to be really cool. We've got some really good concepts of incorporating like just some high energy, high vibe, high traffic, little stores in there too.
Awesome.
Helping entrepreneurs again, like smaller stores, local places.
I was just going to ask, are you guys looking at bringing that program that you have in Bel Air here to Traverse City?
Somewhat. I mean, we'll see financially how much it costs us too, because there has to be a balance. We do have to pay the bills. That's the one thing we at least have to do. I mean,
we don't want to.
We are on a bank podcast, and we have to make sure we can pay you guys back. So, so that is the goal number one, and then after that, then we can have some fun with it as well. Okay.
Did you guys utilize us for that project then? Are you, I should say?
So to clarify that no. Okay. But you guys are very generous in your lending to us. So our funding is very convoluted, but Forefront's a big part of it.
Would you say we're good? We do good for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, it's been a great relationship on just the community side. We do primarily our banking, and you are a primary lender. So to Shorts, this one's technically outside of Shorts.
Gotcha.
Not because of lack of wanting to work with each other, but just with limits of lending and things like that, we had to keep the two separate.
Sure. No, that makes perfect sense. As you mentioned that this project isn't exactly going to be like the most profitable thing for you, and you guys are very invested in helping the communities. Why? Why do that?
I mean, I said, especially as I'm getting older, my life's changed. But I mean, we're only here for so long, and I don't need very much, and I'm so busy, I'm not going to spend. I mean, I would like to have money to do anything I want to do, but I don't really do that much, and I'm not very glad. I mean, I'm not driving around in nice cars or doing anything. It doesn't really bother me. I don't want it. So what else are you going to do? So like at least leave a footprint when you leave is probably better. So like why not? Like, again, what are you going to do with it anyway? So
Wow.
as long as I don't lose it and I can do whatever I said, I want to live a comfortable life. I want to not worry about it. But beyond that, I don't really care.
Wish we had more people in this world like you guys, like you. That's awesome.
I said it's getting easier now. I'm getting older too. It's a lot harder when I was younger too.
Sure. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Well, thank you on behalf of all of us. So, this is a section that I usually do. It's a little bit more fast paced. It's called Money Minute. I just ask you a series of questions, and you answer as quickly as you can. Just the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right. So first question. What is riskier, a bad financial decision or playing it too safe in a creative company like Shorts?
I still think it's probably a bad financial decision that my old side's coming back out. So
okay,
you still have to said we're at the point now too that one or two bad bets can bring it down. So there's a certain balance, of course, but yeah, it's still risky.
I hear you. Would you consider yourself more of a problem solver or a chaos manager?
I'm a chaos manager. I love chaos and I thrive. I feel happy when things are nuts. When things are going too well, to be honest, am not the greatest. I am a chaos CEO for sure.
Love it. Love it. That's an exciting life, right?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently.
What is more expensive than people realize in running a brewery like Shorts?
I think it just it thinks of it as a local business, which we are, but the supply chain is international. So we're heavily reliant on commodity markets such as grain, aluminum, and general flow of hospitality and people, and even workers coming up from abroad now. Because even if we only have a few, but if that has been limited a little bit more, so then all of a sudden we need employees. So I think it's just how internationally we are reliant upon everything and how big of an effect it has, because the supply chain is massive.
When do you know that it's time to walk away from an idea versus staying at the table and continuing to work on it?
Yeah, we've definitely been guilty of that plenty of times. I mean, I think for us, when it becomes not fun, then it goes on life support, and then it has to then make sense completely. Otherwise, it's getting cut. So I'm happy to see something through for longer, as long as the problem's not getting worse. But when we've reached that point and it's getting worse, then it's time to cut.
So it should be fun.
It should be fun, and then if it's not fun, then it should be clearly the best thing to do. And if it doesn't meet either of those criteria, then
it's gone on the chopping block.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We do have a fair amount of entrepreneurs that listen and watch the show. If you had to give one piece of brutally honest advice to someone who's maybe considering opening up their own brewery and they're starting from square one, what would that be?
Brewery, I say just don't do it. It's not the time. It's terrible. It's going to be really, really rough. I mean, there's still an opportunity for localized hospitality-based you have to be an exceptional in the experience now to do that. And you better be prepared for several years of struggle. And that's true in any business. Any business, you're probably going to struggle for a few years. You got a lot to figure out. You're going to lose a lot of money in places you didn't think you're going to lose it and have to correct. And you're going to have to work probably 7 days a week I still do. It's 20 years. But I've had a few periods where it's been down to like 5 or 6, but it's rare. You're pretty much always on the clock. So some people love that, and that's great, but it's not for everyone.
You love that, though, because you love chaos, right?
I do. I said even now, though, I'm getting to the age where it's like, okay, I'd like to just disappear for like a week or two and not worry about anything. And I haven't done that since I was 18. So.
Oh, we need a vacation.
I go on vacation, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You're still...
My mind is working.
Just throw the phone in the ocean.
I have actually accidentally done that once, and it worked out. It was a great week.
And it was an accident?
It was. The phone got damaged, and
okay.
It got some water in it, and it was a great week. I actually did enjoy it.
Now I don't know if you even can damage phones with water anymore.
They would track you down, and
they would.
It's and everyone knows where you are at all times. So it does like people would track you down. So yeah, it's pretty hard.
All right, well. Throw that phone in the ocean next time. Wrapping things up a little bit, Scott, when you're not the magician at work, this is actually a good question for right now. What does a reset look like for you?
reset.
Yeah. I know it's been a while, but
Yeah, I don't really. Well, I go through resets, I guess, of organization, which is like, for instance, I'm trying to do a reset right now. I've got a lot going on. So, daughter graduating, I've got a couple of birthdays, and Memorial Weekend, kick off to summer. So I like to up the ante. So I'm like, now I'm going to clean up my house. I'm going to finish up renovation. So reset's actually for me going into an overdrive mode to try and get ahead. So then step back and have a normal life. I've never had a reset of just like disappearing and.
You don't just sit on the couch and Netflix and chill, do you?
I have. There is days. There is times where I get home and I'm just like, I can't. I need to just lie here. And yeah.
Okay.
But it's not much.
Well, good luck with your reset right now.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I'm sorry if coming on here put a wrench in that.
No,
reset,
I cleaned out my garage. That was my reset. I was really excited, and now I'm getting rid of a bunch of things. So,
perfect.
Yeah. So I'm just clearing up the house, and that organizing little areas. Everything else is chaos in my life, so it's nice to have one area that isn't.
Yeah, I bet that feels really good.
Everything gets into chaos, then it actually is too much chaos for me. So I do one thing to be normal.
Yes, yes.
Doesn't matter which one. I prefer home life to be the most normal one, but that if everything gets chaos, then we focus on something else.
Yeah, definitely. Scott, when people look back at Shorts years from now, and they talk about the impact that it left on Northern Michigan, what do you hope they're saying about it? Not just about the beer, but about the actual experience that it left on this place.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain, and I don't want to throw out any names because there's too many, and there's certainly people who are jumping into that category that I'm friends with, and I don't want to offend by leaving them out. But there's certain families and companies in Traverse City. Like there's a few grocery stores that have had a nice legacy as well, that even after the original founders have departed, the legacy continues, and there's just good work being done, and it's not just, it kind of pops up everywhere, and people, I think, underestimate the value that they created. So that's kind of where I want it to be, is like there's continual reminders of things, and as a statewide kind of Kresge and a few other people are classic examples of just like leaving longing legacies and sustainable paths to like doing some good, helping people out. I like the underdog, so that's usually where I go.
Well, it sounds like you guys are doing just that and more, but that definitely sounds like you're hitting the nail on the head. So thank you guys for everything that you've done in our communities.
Oh, no problem. It's always easier to solve someone else's problem. So I would prefer to clean like someone else's house than my own house. Like,
Scott, come on over.
Yeah,
I got a job for you.
You need to come and clean my house first. You need to see what you're getting into. So I was talking about a trade, not a thing. But it is easier to walk into someone else's problem. It's so much easier when you're not stressed by it. So I can walk in and someone's like, this is burning down, that's burning down. It's like, it sounds great. Like, this sounds fun. Like, because it's not personally stressed. So I like to help other people when I can.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for helping us and coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you're a busy guy. You're in the middle of your reset, so we really appreciate the time that you've taken.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And thank you guys for, again, everything that you do in the community. And thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Bleep the Budget. Like and follow wherever you get your podcast from. Thanks.